last week, if you guys remember, we kind of been going through the minor prophets. And it wasn't my plan at first, because, I was like, they really short books, and, we can do that some other time on our own. But the Lord stirred my heart on these things, and basically, it's a series I kind of put up together on my own, and I started grabbing different things to refer to us as a person, as what will we do? What is it we're going to do with our faith? And so, we looked at Jonah, we looked at Nehemiah, we looked at Joel, right, last week about keeping it simple. And this week is so cool because we're going to need part of Joel's lesson in order to hang on to the gems that we're going to receive today. Today's title is, Do What? One of the things that I've learned throughout my walk with the Lord is that He will ask us to do some strange things. And they're very uncomfortable. And I've had many different experiences like this. And I've read Hosea. This is what we're going to go through, Hosea before. And I never really saw it that way until working on this series and kind of looking at what God would want us to hear. And I realized something, that as I look throughout the Bible, I see that God asks a lot of His people to do some illogical things. Right? The things that is just not normal for man to do. And so I was like, okay, let's just give a couple examples before we get into the story. So one of the things we hear is that the Lord says, give the first of your fruits to Him, right? That means the first of your crops, your herds, and your flocks, and all these things. And I was tripping up, I'm just reading that, and I'm thinking, if we used to farm 4.5 acres of coffee, and that first season that comes around, that's the choice season. That first harvest is a good harvest. The rest not as good for some reason. I don't know why. I guess the first takes all the juice, whatever, I don't know. But that is like the top crop. And I started to think about this, and it's amazing how God says to His people, give the first, give the best of what you have to me, and you keep the rest. So I started to just kind of, if you're like me, I always try to figure out God. I try to figure out what God is up to, and I started to think about that, and I said, well, that's kind of neat. Because that means that we have to get to a place where we trust Him that God is going to provide for us. Right? Because the farmer mind is this, the first crops is your best crop, so you make the most of your money. And you would also save any of those, if it's animals or whatever, seeds and stuff, to make sure that the next season you get the best. Yeah, you're not going to take the junk seed at the end of the season for plant for next year's harvest. You don't do that. I mean, you can. You probably know a house, kind of. But it's just a farming mentality. And so I said, wow, that's kind of cool. God in His really unique way causes us to think about why we give. And it's because we trust that He will return to us, not saying, okay, because He will give back to us, but we trust that He will, in return, take care of us. That's really cool. And that's something we've learned throughout the years. When we came to church, that was like, no way, we never understand that stuff. Today we do. It was really cool because at many churches started talking about Gideon. So I said, hey, this is a really cool one, because God has this unique way of getting us to trust Him. And how He does this is that He will ask us to do unusual things and even do things that will cause us fear. So, how many of you guys remember the story of Gideon? Yeah, most of us remember the story of the 300, right? The 300 men. Well, here's the really cool thing, because that story, there's a lot going on, but here's something that's really cool about that story. He is going against the Midianites. And they have 135,000 men that's going against his army. His army is 32,000. It's so crazy. He's talking to the Lord and he says, Lord, so what we're going to do? And the Lord says, you know what? We need to do something, because if we go in with 32,000 men against the 135,000 and you win, people will say it was because of you, because of men. So I want to do something different. He goes, I want you to go to the men, and I want you to tell them if any one of them are afraid to go into battle, that they are willing to go home. They're more than welcome to go home. Well, that was like really crazy, right? Because I only reading the story, I scared. Yeah, 135,000 and 32,000. Basically, we all got to kill 10 men all at one time in order for me to be even. That's crazy. So, the Lord says to do this, and Gideon does this, and all of a sudden, 22,000 men said, I'm afraid. Well, he sends 22,000 men back home. So I'm like tripping, I'm reading this story, and I'm like, oh Lord, I would be terrified if I was Gideon right now. And then the Lord says, that is still too many. Because if you win, they will think that it was by your own power and not my mighty hand. And he says, now I want you to have all the men that's left go to a pool and drink some water. Any of them that bends down and drinks water on their knees, send them home. Anyone that scoops up water with them standing up and drinks water, looking around, you keep them. Well, they do that, and guess what? 300 men are left. And the Lord tells Gideon, we shall fight with 300 men over the 135,000. Right on the tripping out. And then, so, long story short, they follow the Lord and they win. There's something in these stories that God is revealing to us that we need to understand. How many of you would say that you are pretty much self-sufficient? Yeah. That I don't need nobody, I can handle it, I can do it all alone. But isn't it true that the Bible tells us that it is in our weakness that God reveals our strength? And doesn't the Bible tells us, that this is the part that my grandfather blessed me and reminded me of, is that our strength is God Himself. And so, all of a sudden, this story starts to stir my heart up, and I'm reading this stuff, and I'm getting excited, and I'm going through different things in the week that makes me think about this story. And then I start reading Hosea, and I'm reading it, and I'm like totally tripping on this guy. I don't know how he does it, or how he did it, I should say, but he's amazing. So, let's look, because the whole deal about this is, again, we need to take last week's message and learn to keep it simple. Isn't it true that when God asks us to do stuff, we start analyzing, we start trying to put everything into a place so that we can try to figure out what God is doing? And that's the problem. If we trust God, then we got to get to that point where it's so simple that we'll do what He said. Because the end result is victory. Isn't that what He said? I have great plans for you, not disaster, right? But to be victorious. Because He said that I hold you in your victorious right hand, and you will win every battle. Any weapons formed against my people cannot prosper. I mean, we read all these things, and the Lord says, if you trust me, I will guarantee you victorious. But isn't it true that a lot of times what the Lord would consider to be victorious, we consider to be losses? Right? So, I'm going to really stay with the state right now. I really was angry with the state, and I was really looking to get revenge more than to see justice served. I had to really pray about this. And I had to get to a place where, Lord, I need to forgive my heart, and I need to refocus and remember this. And it came to one of my son's devotions. And my son was reading his devotions, and I was taking him to school, and I was like, read that again? And it says that the Lord is honored and blessed with justice. Right? That justice would humble you. And I was like, crazy. So I was like, okay, read it again. I gotta read it again. And then I had an aha moment. And it was the Lord saying to me, be careful, because when we fight for the wrong things, our heart changes. And instead of being a blessing, it can be a hindrance to us. And so I'm finally at that place that I said, Lord, I gotta trust that whatever you're taking out, I'll do whatever I have to do, and then I need to know when to say enough is enough. Now you take over. Whatever happens is your business. Because my mentality is kill and destroy, right? That's my mindset. And so I realized just how easy it is for me to get tricked by the enemy, because that's his plan. So, when I'm not careful, I come right in alignment with his plan instead of the plan of the Lord. So, we got to learn that sometimes God will ask us to do some really, really weird things. And are we willing to do it? Hosea 1 verses 2 says, when the Lord first began speaking to Israel through Hosea, he said to him, go and marry a prostitute. I was freaking out already when the Lord told me that. Think about it, right? We go, go marry a prostitute. What? Right? So I'm having my moment over here, kind of having this dialogue with the Lord, and so it is so that some of her children will be conceived in prostitution. I'm having issues now with this. I'm like, Lord, you are like wigging me out with this stuff. And then it says, this will illustrate how Israel has acted like a prostitute by turning against the Lord and worshiping other idols. Now, I'm like, that's all I could digest at that moment. Right, I'm working on this and I go, God, no disrespect, but you nuts. You are crazy. And, I'm looking at this guy, and you guys ever saw, what is that movie? The one with the dragon, Arturo. You guys remember this story? Something about the never-ending story? And the guy's reading the boy's reading the book, and he's all into it. That was me. I was having that moment. I was like, no, don't do it. I'm like having a little drama moment with this. And I'm like, no, don't listen. And he goes, and I'm like, you're the prophet of God. God has chosen you. Don't do it. She's a prostitute. And you're going to have babies from this prostitute. Don't do it. And I'm like having this unbelievable moment, right? And I'm cracking up, and yet feeling really like scared that, I kind of know that he's going to do it, because I read the story before, right? And I kind of know what's going to happen, and I'm just trying to hear what God is saying. And so I'm like, question God, ask him why, I'm like acting like that was me, and I don't know if you guys ever do this, but whenever something's not happening the way I think it should, I automatically tell God why. I go, what's going on, right? I trust him, but I will trust you more, Lord, if you tell me what's the deal, and the Lord doesn't answer me all the time. And so I don't think God answers Hosea, because it doesn't say, it just says this, which is blowing my mind. So Hosea trusts the Lord and gets married. I was like, what? And all of a sudden I'm like, you are a better man than me, right? He marries, and he marries this prostitute by the name of Gomer, and this is what Scripture says in verse 3. So Hosea married Gomer, the daughter of Eliam, and she became pregnant and gave Hosea a son. And the Lord said, name the child uh, Jezreel, for I am about to punish King Jehu's dynasty to avenge the murder he committed to Jezreel. In fact, I will bring an end to Israel's independence. I will break its military power in the Jezreel Valley. And so, I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, this is really crazy. Not only did God tell him how marry this prostitute, and which is God is using to speak to Israel now. I don't know about you, but in my brain I say, God, she's not away. You know what I mean? Why does it have to be me marrying a prostitute? Now I get one kid from a prostitute. I'm actually becoming, Hosea. That's how my brain becomes. That's how I feel messages, like you come the person that I'm talking about. And so with this prostitute, they get married and they have a son, right? And I don't know about you, but the first time my son came out, I was like ecstatic. I was like, oh my gosh. Then they get older and go, oh my Lord, take him back, But Kama, the one right there, was our first son, and it was like crazy. I started crying. I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And then they grow up. And the crazy thing is that when it comes to naming our children, we really take seriously the names we give them. So when we got Kama was basically named when we were born in the world and we were into our culture. So Kama's name is Kamaebuko Kanabiahi, and it speaks about the warrior of Kona who carries the torch of life. And it was something really cool. And then we became Christians and said, well, we're going to have to twist that. The guy from Kona that carries the light for God, you know what I mean? But that's not what it meant when we got it. But when you name children, we really believe that there is power in the name that you give them. So here comes Hosea's first son, and the Lord says, name him Jezreel. The name means to scatter. That God is going to scatter the people of Israel. He's speaking. He's using the prostitute. He's using his prophet Hosea to illustrate his frustration and anger with Israel. And so he tells his prophet, marry a prostitute because Israel has become a prostitute. And then he has a child, and then he uses the child to speak to Israel. And the Lord says to Israel, I will scatter you. I will divide you. I will separate you. And I'm thinking, I thought the name was really cool and everything. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool name. Then I read the meaning, I go, oh, what's that name? Right? Now, think about it now. It's kind of rough, right? You're living in a town where your wife is the prostitute of the town. You have a child, and you name that child, God will break you guys all apart. God is going to destroy you guys. That's not cool. You know what I mean? I have to believe that people start to give him the stink eye because he's the prophet at the time who's speaking on behalf of God. So he listens to God. He names his son as God asked him to do. And so the thing about this is that you need to really know the story, because what God is saying to the king, Jehu, is that I remember your sin. And you will pay its consequences for your sin, for killing King Ahab's family. Now, when you start reading the story and you get this all put together, you go, oh, it's crazy. I want you guys to understand this. We said this before, yeah? Your sin does affect others. Because of his sin as the king, and his sin to not make correction, to lead according to the ways of the Lord, the people will suffer. It's crazy. Yeah? So, he names his son this, the word gets out, and then something crazy happens. He starts, I guess, they're in love or whatever it is, and another baby comes along. And it's nuts, right? I'm reading this and they go, oh, okay, another baby. Well, maybe the name will be better. Well, let's read verse 6 to 7. It says, soon Laura became pregnant again and gave birth to a daughter. And the Lord said to Hosea, name your daughter Loruhamah, not love, for I will no longer show love to the people of Israel or forgive them, but I will show love to the people of Judah. I will free them from their enemies, not with weapons and armies of horses and chariots, but by my power as the Lord their God. So I'm looking at this and I'm getting all crazy again. And I'm like, oh no, she's pregnant again, right? I'm tripping on it and I say, oh man. And then now you're gonna have a daughter. I don't know about you guys, but we have 3 boys. We always wanted 1 daughter. Never happened, but we figured after 3 strikes we was done. We wasn't gonna try anymore. So we didn't have a girl. So we adopted everybody else's girls. And he goes, name your daughter not loved. I was like, that is crazy. That's your little girl. When we started looking for names, we always look for names for boys and girls, right? Because we don't know what we're going to have. Even though we have one, we still keep the name. We get these 2 names. And so I have some really, my wife get her name, I get my names, everything that I like whenever it's a girl and everything. We never got them. But I would never name my daughter, my little baby girl, not loved. Right? Other than Islam, not cool. Well, he names his daughter this. And I'm like tripping out again. And I go, you're kind of messing up the child's life already. So, you guys probably all get different examples. We have Paul Keller, right? Then I can't even remember all of the names. Paul Keller, Ho'okahaku, and Yolanda Ho'ohanohano. And these names, when we already was in church, those names refer to God's champion and the Spirit of the Lord, the eagle that soars. Yeah. So I'm thinking, wow, man, you should name your girl not loved. And that's not a really cool name. But once again, Hosea listens to God and names his daughter not loved. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy probably must have had some messed up stuff going on in his mind. Because I don't know about you, I would really start questioning God now. How many of you guys even thinking about questioning God about this right now? First prostitute, name my son, basically I will destroy you, and your daughter name him, I don't love you. That's kind of rough, right? And then, regardless of what's going on in his brain, somehow, some way, he trusts God, and then another baby comes along. I would be trembling about now, right? And now they have another baby. Hosea 1 verses 8 to 9. After going ahead, when Loruhamah, she became pregnant and gave birth to a second son, and the Lord said, name him Loamin, not my people, for Israel is not my people, and I am not their God. That's kind of messed up, right? And so, there's something really crazy. I started to put this together because I wanted to see what it looked like if I was to put this all together. So basically I say, hey, David, how's it? Right? And David goes, hey, how's it? He goes, well, I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Junior. My wife is Keller. She's a prostitute. I have a son, by the way. His name is I Will Destroy You. And this is my younger daughter, my only daughter right now. I said, and her name is I Don't Love You. And let's not forget my little boy. My little boy's name is You Don't Belong to Us. I don't think you would want to be my friend at the end of the conversation. So imagine, this is the prophet of God. This is his message to Israel. And every time they see him, this is what they hear. Imagine walking on the street. Your friends start screaming, hey, not loved. Hey, I will destroy you. I think even for them, they would stop having friends. Because Not so much because of their name, but because they were speaking about the prophecy that God had in store for them. Yeah? So it's like I'm going to hang out with David. I said, David, I just want to let you know, God is going to destroy you. You think he's still like hanging around with me? You're probably going to tell me, well, hang out with somebody else who like destroy, but I don't want to hear your message. Right? And so I'm tripping out on this guy and I go, man, he's pretty cool. He's a little bit retarded, if you ask me. Yeah, but he's pretty cool because regardless of what's going on, he trusts God. That is crazy kind of trust. That you would put yourself at such a place that you would be used to be a huge example or tool to have God's word spoken. And then I started to think about it. You know, how many of us we get to testify about our faith? How many of us we faith? Right? As long as they don't go to church, we can be real. But if anybody has any kind of hint that they go to church, we all of a sudden become church people. Now, there's a good and bad. I think we ought to be real, but be disciplined. So there's a lesson we can learn in that. You know, we used to be fake all the time. We were good fakers of church, being church people. We would scrap, we would do everything, come to church with praise the Lord. God is good, right? And, you know, I really didn't like it when people go all the time, because when they go all the time, they're waiting for you to respond, right? I'll respond with, and all the time, you know, it's like, it was such a lie, right? And I finally was really blessed because I realized that it was okay to come to church and have a crappy day. It was okay to come to church and you guys just have fight outside. It's alright. Nothing wrong with that. That means you're human. But it's not okay to come to the house of God and pretend everything is okay when you should be asking for prayers and for His guidance. Because isn't it true that, you know, if you come and your heart is hard, it's hard to hear God speak. You guys ever notice why we worship? Worship isn't because, you know, we just like singing. I mean, yes, we do. But the purpose of worship is to soften our heart for the message. And then we worship at the end. You know why we do that at the end? It's so that we say, Amen. How? All is good. It's a period. So that's why worship is important to us. You know, we used to come in at the end of worship. Well, actually, yeah, at the end of worship, really more at the end of when you did the welcoming. Because I hated greeting people. Yeah, now I'm not too bad. I kind of got used to it after, 20-some years. But when I first came, I hated people touching me. I hate telling them hi. I don't even know them. I don't want to know them. I don't like them as far as I'm concerned. So I got to tell them hi. But we put the fake face on there. Hi, see you too. And you just cannot wait to get away. Right? At least that was me. Now, I really love to say hi. And it's so funny because you can tell the ones that like dig out. You ever notice that? Like when they hi, they say hi and then they kind of dig out. Oh, I like to talk to those people. I like to hold them there a little bit. Oh, how are you doing? Oh, good. And then they get quiet. Oh, man. That means we're going to have fun right now. Yeah, that's why I pray for you. I need Jesus. But God knows that that's how I am. And I like being real. You know? And so that's one of the things I like about us being in church. Let's be real. You're having a bad moment. Be real about it. Nothing wrong with that. Because that way when you recognize and be honest about what you're feeling, then you get the fullness of what God wants for you on that day. You know, you come to church, it's not so that we feel good. We come to church so that He feels good. The byproduct of Him being blessed is we get blessed. So, I'm thinking about this guy and I'm like, at that point where, if you look at, remember the never-ending story, he's in the wind starts blowing, the shutter starts flapping, and the candle blows out. I'm like right there in my story, right? I'm having a moment, I'm like, oh, girl, with my blanket. Oh no, disaster, and then I read on to the story. I read more of the story, and guess what happens? The wife digs out and starts prostituting again. I was like, I told you not to do that. Right? I told you. And so she goes out and she starts sleeping with all the men in town. And the crazy thing is that I get to chapter 3, chapter 3, and the Lord asked this guy to do something crazy. He goes, Hosea, I want you to go and bring your wife back home. I wasn't like, what? Lord, do you know what she did to him? That enough. He went through all of this. He has kids that, get this name, and then she digs out on him and starts prostituting again. Now, that's just like really nuts. But what's even crazier is that he needs to buy her back. I was like, forget that. Right? And don't pay anything. I'm screaming. Let it go. But again, this guy's trust in God is blowing my stinking brain apart. Because he goes and buys her back. So for his own wife, who's prostituting, he pays whoever the pimp was, right? Whoever owned her, for some, you have to have pimps then if you have to pay for her, 15 pieces of silver, about 50 gallons of barley. And when I look up the translation of the wine, the measure of wine, it was like basically a bottle of wine. And I was like, she's not worth it. 15 pieces of silver, you know what I mean, and all this stuff. And he does it. It's crazy. I'm like, Lord, forgive me. I don't think I can trust that way. I go, that's too much. Now I would be a Jonah. I'd be jumping on a ship, heading the opposite way. Right? But no, he stays put. And he does exactly what God calls him to do. Now, I'm tripping out because when he calls her back to him, when he calls him to get her and bring her back home, he goes, this will be an illustration of my love for Israel. That although she ran away from me, I will chase after her. How's that? And then I started thinking about Jonah, and I started to think about other situations. Maybe Job was having a little problem, and I realized the love of God is so amazing. And he goes, I love you, and I will chase after you. There's a saying that once we taste the goodness of the Lord, it is hard to not desire it. Now, I want to share with you guys a true story. So at a very young age, my grandmother died, and my grandfather got involved with another young girl. This is actually his extended family today. And so he has I think 5 kids that are like my uncles and my aunties. And I'm like 20-something years older than them, right? And so when this all happened, we kind of had a rough time because we felt my grandfather should have been, faithful to my grandmother, and all this stuff. We were young, we were confused, and all we knew was grandpa and grandma, right? So he starts to have these children and a whole new life, and I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. And one of the things that was hard was that even though we went through this rough time, the heart of me for my grandfather is unbelievable. I would do anything for this man. And because he helped me to find Jesus again. You see, I got lost, and along the way, I started doing drugs, and I got into a whole bunch of stuff, and this guy would pray for me, and, I would make fun of him and all that stuff, and regardless, they would pray for me. And then one day, I was saved, and my grandfather would always say this to me, and I tripped out, because we fell in love with the Lord, right, and then we pulled back. We got scared, basically. We didn't want anything from the Lord already. We wanted to be our own bosses, tired being this Mr. Nice Guy. Started, no matter how good you are, things are rough and things are supposed to be good. Everybody tell you that when you meet Jesus, you're going to have a great life. They stinking lie. You know what I mean? Because it's not a great life. It's a rough life. Being a Christian is hard because you have to deal with so much situations in a different way that you're not normally used to handling it. And then you have to do what this man is doing. You have to trust God's outcome, even when it looks like a mess. So, my grandfather would make fun, and shut up, grandson, to do that. Pray for your deep praise, one day God will get a hold of you. And the crazy thing is that we, out of our own pain and anguish, we started just doing whatever we wanted to try to cover up to it. So I want you guys to hear this, okay? When people pushing God away, it's not because they don't want to know Him. It's that they don't want to open up the wound that needs to be healed. Think about it this way. When you have a really deep wound, they stuff it with balls, yeah? And do you know that when you pull that stuff out, it hurts like heck? It doesn't, you just think, oh, that's coming out. You really think. And then they stuff it back in until it starts to heal. And that's what happens when you come to the Lord. You have to trust God, taking out those bandages, cleaning it, and refilling it again. You can heal. You can heal. And eventually, it will start getting smaller and smaller until one day it is completely healed. That's kind of what happened with me and my grandfather's relationship, and I think all of us, basically. And but my grandfather would always say, one day the Lord will get a hold of you. Yeah, keep praying, Grandpa. I pray for you too. Can't you see stupid and dumb kids? And crazy thing happened. One day, my wife was my girlfriend at that time. I said, I'm missing something, and I know what it is. She was what? I go to church. She almost fell backwards, and she was probably stoned at the time too, because I was smoking. She was like, don't stay, man. She was stumbling into church. You know what I mean? But I realized something. My grandfather would love me despite of all that was going on, and he didn't push Jesus on me. He just reminded me of Jesus. And eventually, little by little, I find myself hungry for the Lord. You see, this is what many of us don't see. Is that even when you're in your private time, you guys don't understand this. Isn't it then you cry out to the Lord, Lord, I struggle. I love you, but I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand how to make this connection. I want to love you. I read what the Bible says. I see people's excitement, but I don't know. I just cannot make the connection. I want you guys to hear this, okay? You just continue doing that, and you will be amazed how God will speak. Because God chases after those who love Him. I want you guys to understand this. Israel was God's chosen people. You know how many times God took Israel down to a remnant? Too many to count. And remnant means that He took them down from a huge nation to a tiny handful of people, and He revealed Himself within that. With the 10 or 20 people, whatever it was, He rebuilt His kingdom again. Then they got too fat. They got too complacent. Yeah? That's a word we should be very careful that we come to church and we become complacent. That we no longer hunger to learn God's word. We don't pray. We pray when we're in trouble, but that's not the same. Yeah? That means when we pray when we're in trouble, all we do is, God, in the genie bottle, I'm having a hard time. Come and help me out. You're not trusting. You kind of rolling the dice and saying, well, maybe if I say something, He will help me. But building a relationship, trusting God, means that you know, that you know, that you know. So, the Lord tells Hosea, bring this woman back to you. And it's really crazy. He goes, we're going to bring this woman back to you, and you're going to tell her that she can't have sex with anybody else anymore. Not even with you. And basically, what the Lord says is that I'm using this example, right, to reveal to Israel that for some time they're going to go out of here. There will be no priest. There will be no worshiping. There will be no king. Isn't it crazy? I'm reading this stuff and I'm like getting tripped out. I'm like, wow. But in order for God, this is something I want you to know. God is really a good, an amazing gentleman. You know that I have to go through plenty of my own valleys and in the mud and everything before I finally said, Lord, I surrender. And when I did that, the Lord picked me up. I read this story. Now you gotta make the connection. Maybe you cannot make the connection. Maybe you think it's weird, but I want you guys to see something. Because the Bible is prophetic. Okay, everything that's written in here is prophetic. Right? Meaning it is about things that will be revealing itself. So when we read Old Testaments, and that's why I really love doing the Minor Prophets right now, because those are not very good stories. You guys ever read the Minor Prophets? Anybody? Okay, if you read them, they're really junk stories. They're like about God's wrath and how He's frustrated, and I'm not ready to read that, right? So, I'll kind of stay in the New Testament. In fact, I love the New Testament because in the New Testament, there is something that the Old Testament doesn't have. And what that is grace. In the Old Testament, you do something wrong, right? If Joy did something wrong, suppose she would cut the finger off my son's toe, finger off my son's toe. Yeah, I speak one. Kind of like it's correction. Cut the kid's finger when she was cleaning the field or whatever. So then you go, hey, finger for finger. You gotta let me cut your kid's finger. And that was how the Old Testament worked. Hosea is revealing, right? It's being prophetic about the coming of Jesus Christ. We just did a couple of chapters. It's a lot bigger than Joel, right? I think there's like 8 or 9 chapters. And what it is prophesying or revealing to us is the coming of Jesus Christ, how the grace of Jesus would work. You see, the Lord says, my people will sin. They love worshiping the world. They love worshiping these other gods. In fact, they lost their love for me. And so I will not be their God any longer. And so He gives them warnings, and destruction is hitting the land. In fact, they go without a leader for a while before we start seeing the Lord returning to His people. What happens? This is something really crazy. Do you know that after we live a while in the slums, we get tired of it? Yeah? I mean, I was sick of being a drug addict, living on the beach, not having money, and just barely just getting by every month, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but being drug addicts, we knew the number and address of the pawn shop. So we'll take Dale's jewelry in, bring them out, take them back. That was a normal thing. Okay, that's how we lived the drug addicts. And that life got really boring and really sick. And we didn't want to live like that. And so we made the choice to change. And that choice of changing came when we made a decision to follow and find God. Finding God wasn't an easy task. Waianae was divided. She didn't want to know God. She said she was brought up, if you know God in your heart, that's all that matters. And that is true. But we were brought up that not only knowing God, we needed to have a relationship with God. But our relationship was different. I was a Catholic. So my relationship with God was making sure I go, put the water on, deal with the church, and then go to confirmation, or not confirmation, but confession booth, right? And do your rosary, right? Our Father, the Lord be, the confession, and then whatever Holy Marys and we ever had, we had plenty of those, right? I mean, we got so used to saying the rosary that we almost sound like we was chanters. I mean, you start to pray like that. You guys anybody was Catholics before? Yeah? So you guys know, right? I mean, if you got to do 200 Hail Marys, right? So you would go, but I from your responsibility, but I said, I don't know, Jesus. I mean, you sound like and then, if you got one time around, you had a whole lot more to do, right? Because if my brain's right, if I can remember, I think it's 53 Hail Marys, 5 Our Fathers, 1 Glory Be, and the Acquisition. By the time you power all that prayer, you should be holy. And when we went to confession, the priest said, you need a bunch of those. Right? And so, it was really crazy. So, in that way, how it was right, we had half-truths on both sides. That it was knowing God in your heart that mattered. For us, it was having a relationship in the physical that mattered. But we never realized that we needed both in order to be in the right with God, His Son Jesus. We needed a heart and a physical relationship with Jesus in order that we would stand in His righteousness. Wow, it's kind of crazy. That's why I don't knock down Catholics. Everybody goes, Catholics this, Catholics that. Well, that's where I learned my discipline from. Yeah? I mean, that's where we learn to kneel. At a long time I couldn't pray. If I don't kneel, that means God wasn't listening. Alright, and I thought I was being disrespectful. See, one of the things I want us to learn is that when we trust God, let's never ever get to the place where we lose the reverence of God. Paul says, be careful with the freedom that you have, because you may cause someone to stumble. But be careful also of your freedom if you don't cause yourself to stumble. Right? I don't think God minds us praying when we're driving, but we need to make time to be with Him alone and talk stories. Isn't it crazy, like I said earlier, when you're alone in your bed and nobody's, they're sleeping, you just have your quiet time, that you have this conversation with God, and then all of a sudden it feels kind of weird and it leaves you out, and you kind of feel like convicted or like too heavy for you to the time. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even want to talk to God anymore. This is supposed to be a good thing, but it's not. I'm feeling drunk. That is a good thing. That means that you are pressing into Him and He is pressing back. Don't ever stop that. It's really, really crazy. All of a sudden, now it makes sense. These guys, all these little minor prophets have gems that I can pick up and I grab onto. I'm going to be in a good place. Keep it simple. Don't allow those things to get me confused. Don't think that there's a system, because there isn't a system to know the Lord. But we got to come to the place where we trust Him. If we're created in the image of God, Do you think that he had great intentions of being part of our life? I think so. I love this. And I never really understood this in a long time until I started, building my own relationship. That Scripture says, this is the temple of God. Treat it good. Treat it well. Why? Because this is where God resides. That's why, when we sin. Anybody sin, by the way, today? Anybody? Yeah? I'm in sin too. I was driving. That's my... God will give me riding on bike, I still be sinning. You know what I mean? Anytime I get on the road, I just get frustrated. But not only did I sin because I'm getting angry, but I had bad thoughts. Meaning, somebody was irritating me, I was thinking about them, and I thought, I can't stand it. And you go, oh, that's so stupid. That's not stupid. Because if you mean, and that's why we're all different, so if it's stupid to you, whatever, you know what I mean? But it's not stupid to me, because suppose if I have a bad thought about David, and I don't need to use you guys, but you guys are closest, you know what I mean? So, don't get personal. We should only be in church. And so he just irritated me what he did or what he said. I said, it's just irritating. I can't understand him right now. And he goes, that's not a big deal. It is a big deal because my job is to pray for him. But how can I pray for him the heart of God if I irritate him? You know what I pray for him? Anybody? I pray the heart of Satan. And now, instead of praying to the Father of truth and worshiping him, I pray to the Father of lies and worship him. You go, oh, that's just like going out of the box. No, it's that extreme. At the end of the whole race, there's no, in the middle, right? There's either hot or cold. In fact, it says it in Revelation. Anything that is lukewarm, the Lord says, I will spit out of my mouth. Now, I don't know about you, when you think about spit, it's not like, oh, that's a great thing. That's gross, disgusting. So that means, you know what? You're hot. You're going to be burning. That's just the bottom line. So, you got to be hot, cold in the sense that you go in heaven, okay? Cold, it's cold for heaven, yeah? And hot means that you're going to be in hell. There's only two choices. I had this great opportunity to speak to somebody about the love of Jesus. And isn't it funny? I was thinking about this. Is that throughout my years I've been learning to trust God. I still learning to trust God. The situation with just going back on the Saturday with the church, it was a hard deep to me. Because my pride gets in the way. Right? And finally, this unfolds and everything, and I'm a basket case, right? And then I'm trusting God, and then all of a sudden, all this stuff is happening where my grandfather is coming, and he said he needs to be taken care of. And then now I find he's going to be here 2 weeks, and guess where he's going to be staying? Right? He's going to be at my house. I'm going to take care of this guy. I didn't lose my job because he needs constant attention. Not that he's very smart, alert, but he's weak. He can't stand very long before he falls off. Right? And then he's, I guess he good eyes but jump ears. You gotta yell at the guy. Say, I'd like to bring him to church because I want you guys to see the guy that has just made me a person in love with Jesus, as well as he loves to be in church. Yeah. So you're going to see this fragile old man coming, and then you're going to be blown away. He trusts God in the whole thing, right? And when he got shaken this week, I was falling apart, he was crying. Never ever saw my grandfather like that. And I was like, what a blessing. But it's a reminder that we are never too strong to not need God in our lives. So We got to get to the place where we trust Him. And I want to close with this, okay? I want you guys to do this. I want you guys to, in your quiet time, talk to the Lord. And I want you to be real with the Lord. And I know, and I want you to be separate. You know, like, I love my wife, but we cannot hang out too long together. And as she's sharing her thoughts and my thoughts, we clash. She goes, oh, maybe God is saying this. No, God is talking to me, not you. You know what I mean? And so, they kind of like, hey, oh, I think God is telling you this. And I'm like, no, I think God's telling you that. Just leave me outside of this, okay? So we kind of, we don't do our devotions together because we're different. But we share what God is putting on our hearts. Our kids, they don't do devotions together because they fight. Oh, yeah, that's what they said. They never say that. Or they all read his own devotions, different devotions, right? And so it works best for us that way. And I really want you guys to do this. I want you guys to do this in your own quiet time, wherever it be, in the bathroom, driving, just wherever you can just be alone with God. And I want you to ask these questions, Lord, what are you calling me to do? Are you calling me to trust you more? Are you calling me to just do something even though it doesn't make sense? Are you calling me to go against everything I believe? When I say what I believe, meaning everything that you personally have made law. Hosea had to take everything out that he considered to be good. I don't know if I could be that guy. I'm just being honest. Right? I don't know if I could do it. That's crazy. And I thank God that that's not my time for me. That's not my deal. Hosea, the Lord bless you. You keep your challenge on your own side. Maybe, Lord, are you causing a discomfort in my life? And what is that discomfort for? You see, one of the things we must understand is that we are created for purpose, and that our footsteps are ordained by God. Yes, we live in a world where bad things happen, but according to Scripture, God says I can turn anything bad into good for those who love me. Now, that word love, we want to change. And it's a word that we change to, and it has a huge meaning when you get married. Right? When you get married and you say, I do. Right? It says to love, to honor, to cherish, in sickness and in health, for good, for worse, blah, 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 right? And you kind of listen to the pastor guy go on, and it's got a long list of stuff. And then at the end you go, I do. You know what that I do means? It's saying, I love you, and I agree to trust you with my heart. Now you take care of it. And then we work through that. We work through taking care of each other's hearts. There's going to be hardship along the way. But like God, we got to have grace and mercy. And we have to be forgiving. If we cannot forgive, then we cannot let go. And then we start having problems loving unconditional. Right? Unconditional love is one of those loves that is really, really, really hard, because it's a love that says, I trust. Even though you got hurt, even though you don't feel comfortable, but I trust. You see, that's the great thing about the Lord. Lord, I trust you. I love you. I don't know where you're taking me, but I know the end result is heaven. And I know that along the way, I'm a testimony for your name. So whatever you have in store for me, give me the strength to continue to trust in you. That should be our biggest prayer. Because trust and love, that's all the same word. They all mean the same thing. That's why this love relationship with Jesus is referred to as a marriage. Because it's sanctified, set apart. It's holy. Yeah, does that make sense? Alright. I want to came up. And I want us to just ask ourselves these questions, okay? And if everything is cool with you, hey, the Lord bless you. You don't always have to have challenges, right? You know, that's like having what I would call a Christian watching. They tell me that, oh, not this, I love this. The Christians get their own problems, right? They go, oh, everything in my life is going good, something bad gotta happen. That's stupid. That's like, okay, I had enough, good Lord, make me suffer. Forget that. If everything in my life is going good, awesome, Lord, continue to allow this wonderful blessing to flow. Right? Does it make sense? We gotta be careful because we start to sabotage our own faith in certain type of mindsets.